A 15-year-old shot 3 of his 4 siblings and then himself, and everybody is dead. And this is one of those cases I've said before. You got to charge the people that are supposed to be in charge of the gun. This is a tragedy, but you've got to charge the people that are supposed to be in charge of the gun. Alaska News Source reports 4 children dead in Fairbanks after 15-year-old shot 3 siblings and himself, per troopers. 4 children are dead. God, what a tragedy. After a 15-year-old turned a gun on 3 of his siblings and then took his own life. That's per Alaska State Troopers. This happened on Tuesday. Troopers got a report of a shooting at a subdivision north of Fairbanks, Alaska. The troopers showed up and found 4 kids dead from an apparent gunshot wound. Troopers said that a 15-year-old boy shot 3 siblings. The siblings were aged 5, 8, and 17, and then shot himself. Oh, it's 3 other siblings in the home were not injured. Not one other, 3 other siblings in the home. So the parents of the children and 1 other sibling were also not home. So wait, 1 sibling, 3 others is 4, and then the 3 that were shot is 7, and then 8. So you've got a house. It's a very, very small house. There's images of the house in some of the news articles. You've got 8 siblings, and you've got an unsecured gun. Now, there has not been a lot of detail here, but one of the questions is whose gun was it and how did the 15-year-old get access to it? Well, according to NBC News, the gun was a family gun. By the way, the term family gun, that is uniquely American. It was a family gun, but beyond that, it's all still part of an ongoing investigation. If indeed, I mean, listen, family gun, the 15-year-old's not allowed to have the gun. So by family gun, it probably means that this was a firearm that belonged to and was purchased by the parent or parents. And if that's the case, the firearm being accessible to the 15-year-old would be a negligent act by the parents, by the gun owners. And we often talk about when there are these so-called accidental shootings, which are really negligent shootings, where the gun owner accidentally fires a gun at someone. We say, wow, that's really a tragedy. And do we want to add more to what is already a tragedy? When a dad accidentally shoots his own kid, as we've covered before, and the kid dies, that's the tragedy. So do we really want to go after the parent for a negligent gun discharge, given that they've lost their kid? Well, I don't know. It's not really my decision to make. But further, here we have a situation where, of course, this is a tragedy for the parents. But what is the signal being sent if the parents didn't properly store and lock the firearm, and then it was accessible to a 15-year-old who then killed 3 of his siblings and himself? What's the message that's sent if the parents aren't charged? I don't know. I'd like to hear from you about that. One other aspect in general, and when you have an individual incident, here this is an individual mass shooting. Individual mass shootings and broader statistics, sometimes they correlate, sometimes they don't, or whatever the case may be. Alaska has the #1 gun homicide rate in the country. The gun homicide rate in Alaska is over 24 gun homicides per 100,000 people. Now, if you're wondering whether 24 is high, New York and Massachusetts, the 2 states with the lowest gun homicide rate, have a gun homicide rate of 3. Okay? We're talking about 7 times higher, more than 7 times higher. The gun homicide rate is 3 in New York and Massachusetts, and it's more than 24 in Alaska. It just so happens that gun laws in Alaska are not strict, and gun laws in New York and Massachusetts are strict. And once again, we see that correlation. This one story is just an anecdote, but I think it's always important to kind of pull out and to say, well, what's the context in Alaska and what's the context in some of these other states? For all of the, there's the woke bashing that takes place. Oh, New York is so dangerous and it's just riddled with urban gun crime, euphemisms, right? The gun homicide rate in Alaska is extraordinarily high. And Anchorage, Alaska, is consistently in the United States, a very dangerous metro area when it comes to violent crime. Barely ever makes the news. I don't know if it doesn't fit with the narrative of the right. I don't know if it's because Alaska is so geographically distant from the contiguous 48 states. I don't pretend to know exactly why, but that is the truth. Those are the numbers, and just another horrible, horrible tragedy. And if only we could do something about this, right? Oh, wait, this is a problem that plagues the United States and almost no other wealthy Western nation. Yeah. Make sure you follow us on Facebook for more on this and other stories from today's show, facebook.com/David Pakman Show.